everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Hi, hello. Welcome to episode 4 of the TBR Sidequest. This episode, my friends, we are going to be doing a big mama drama on haul. We're doing a chopping block, guys. It's a chopping block episode. We're going to be going through my TBR. I have a pile under my desk that has been living there since I started this series back last year. And we are going to cull books off of the TBR because holy shit, I have been doing so bad at actually shrinking this TBR. This is episode 4 and we are still hovering around the 190 mark. So we ended the last episode at 188 books on the TBR. We also began the last episode at 188 books on the TBR. I think we started the other one too, the previous one did that, at around 188 books on the TBR. So we are making a big dent in that today, friends. So I don't know what I'm actually going to be reading in this here video. We're going to figure that out together. But I'm going to take you on a journey to underneath my desk over there. And we're going to start going through what we're going to be potentially removing from the TBR. I'm going to pull up Storygraph on my iPad. We're going to look at my owned book list. And it's going to be a little bit of a harsher one. So, but you also, my friend, my beautiful reader, if I take a book off of my TBR with the intent to unhaul it, if you think that I will fucking love that book and I've made a mistake, tell me in the comments because I will give it a try. I will give it a taste test. But in this video here, we're going to pick a couple books off of this giant pile of random bullshit I have. And we're going to try and read a couple of them, whether that is sampling chapters, whether that is actually reading the whole book. We're going to figure it out, my friends. We're going to do this correctly. We're going to actually start shrinking the TBR down because I have been so bad at that this year. I made a goal of shrinking my TBR down to 150 books before I allow myself to bring another book into my house, add another book to my shelves, other than pre-orders and the potential for an Aardvark book box book, which has, I broke that in the last fucking, but like the pre-orders have been kind of coming in and they've been collecting on my shelves. I have brought in, let me see, how many pre-orders specifically have I brought into my house? 4 pre-orders have been acquired this year. And on top of those pre-orders, I have acquired 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 books in total this year with the Aardvark book box. And then the one time I bought a book that I had just read from the library, The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. I did buy that one, but it didn't go onto the TBR. The other week, I bought The Trident and Pearl by Sarah Kale Wilson because I went to the author's event. And I felt weird not having something for her to sign. So I bought this. And then I immediately started reading it. So I am 45% of the way through this. And I will be continuing that, but probably not in this video. I have been so atrociously bad at actually reading my physical TBR that it kind of hurts. Like I've so far read, was it 5 off of the physical TBR this year? Yes, 5. Got 5 little circles colored in. I need to be better at that. Holy fuck. So anyways, my friends, you and me, we're gonna go move over there and we're gonna start going through and unhauling. Welcome to part of underneath my desk. Hello. I have books here that this is also in the way now. I didn't put you at a good angle, did I? No, that's okay. That's how things are. Books that I am pulling off my shelves that I have previously talked about at some point. Oh, everything is very dusty and full of cat hair. Jesus Christ. Please excuse that. I think right off the top, have I read the second one? Yeah. These are just unhauls, so we don't need to worry about them because I have read all of those. One that I am unhauling that I'm not going to read, Glass Sword. I think I have already removed that from the TBR though, so we don't need to worry about that one. This middle grade, The Ogress and the Orphans, I'm just not interested in it anymore. Kelly Barnhill, this one's going to be unhauled. So, okay, we're going to keep this bad boy open. We're going to open up Storygraph and we will see what I can unhaul. 188 books. Bingo bango. We are going to go through. Okay, first one on this here list is this Richard Swan book, which is The Tyranny of Faith. I have previously read The Justice of Kings. Both of these are incredibly dusty. Don't worry about it. I've read The Justice of Kings and I liked it a whole heck of a lot. I was surprised by it. but I just don't know if I'm interested enough to keep going, because this is one of those that I would have to reread book 1 before going into book 2, and then somehow find book 3 and finish that. So this one is a big heavy maybe. I don't even know if I want to put this on the sample. Okay, this is gonna be the first one that's gonna be a sample, because if this first chapter interests me enough, I will dedicate the time to either finding a summary of the Justice of Kings and then going into this one, or I will try it. But first one, this one is our first on the chopping block taste test. Cinda Williams Chima, The Wizard Heir. I did not like her other book that I started, the first one of the other series. I just didn't like it at all. It didn't work for me. But so many people love her books, and I feel like I should give this one a proper try. So this one's also going on the taste test chopping block. This one, Secret History of Witches, this one's just getting unhauled because I have no desire to read this. I just, not anymore. So the next one also on my Storygraph list is The Midnight Kingdom by Tara Sim. Now, I remember reading The City of Dusk, which is the first one in this series. This one here. Wow, look at all that cat hair flying everywhere. City of Dusk. I really, really enjoyed this. I don't remember a single fucking thing from this though. And I don't know, again, like the Richard Swan, if I'm even interested enough to go into the Midnight Kingdom. I just don't know. Like, I know I'm gonna have a good time, but again, I'm gonna have to reread the first one to go into the second one because I don't remember anything about it. Is this another taste test? Okay, another taste test. Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I really, really, really liked Truth Witch, the first one. And then I didn't really like the second one. And then because of that, I just haven't picked up any further in this series. And it is YA, and you guys know how I am with YA. So you know what? We're just gonna fully unhaul these. So let me see if I can find these two in this list. I also need to find the Ogress and the what have you to unhaul these. Okay, Sight Witch, we are unhauling. And then Blood Witch, we are also unhauling. So these two are going bye-bye. I should really get rid of that one too. Okay, we're just gonna reveal my tiny Brandon Sanderson collection, and we're going to unhaul these two books off of it, because the amount of times that I've tried to read Elantris and have gotten somewhat through and then just stopped reading is hilarious, and then I don't think I want to read Mistborn Era 2. So these two are also going away, unhauling both of those and removing them from the TBR. Iconic. Let's keep going. Let's find those ones that I keep saying I'm gonna find. So just that alone has brought the number down to 182. Because that's 6 books so far. Okay, let's look at more things. Okay, what's in front of me here? We have Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore. I really liked Graceling. I didn't love Fire. I liked Bitter Blue enough, but I just don't know if I care enough to keep going with this series, to be honest with y'all. Yeah, I just don't care enough to keep going with this series. Despite this being an incredibly satisfying paperback to hold, I think I'm gonna unhaul it. Unfortunately, unhauling that without even doing a taste test. Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore is being unhauled. Another one that is just going to be an immediate unhaul is The Cruel Stars by John Birmingham. I just don't care enough, and I've never heard anything about that one particularly to keep it on my list, and it feels like the kind of sci-fi that I'm not going to like, so we're unhauling that one as well. And that brings us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books lower. We're down to 180, my friends. Let's fucking go! Dungeons and Dragons Spelljammer by Django Wexler. I feel like it's going to be kind of fun. So I do want to try this just to see. I think this is going to go on the taste test options. Then we have The Shadow Glass. This is by John Winning. This is puppet horror. This is one of those books that I've brought out to be on my like Halloween TBR for years, and every year I skip this and I haven't even tried it. So I feel like I should try it. I'm gonna put it on the taste test. We're gonna try a chapter, see how I feel, and whether or not we're gonna unhaul it. Same with The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. I think I have another Josiah Bancroft on my shelf somewhere. Where? I couldn't tell you. I feel like I do. I did at one point. Josiah Bancroft. Oh, I had Senlin Ascends on my list for a while. Okay, so I did remove that one because it just didn't interest me. I heard too many reviews that it was incredibly misogynistic, and I was like, you know what, I don't even want to try it. This one sounds really cool. And I remember liking the vibe. So we're gonna give it a taste test and we will see. Gutter Child by J.L. Richardson. I have tried and I didn't really like it. I only got like a chapter in and it didn't grab my attention. This is going to be an unhaul. Oh, I feel bad. Immediately was like, oh, but what if I give it another try? Maybe it's good. I don't know. It's a dystopian like book. But it's also a coming of age story, and I don't like coming of age stories, which is really weird. No, we're gonna do another taste test for that one. I feel weird just removing it from my shelves immediately. Also have The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman, which I've heard is really, really fun. So, and it's a tour book. I think this one's going to be another taste test because I feel like it's going to be fun, or it's going to be kind of fantasy that I just really don't jive with, which is like dude bro fantasy. I feel like that's going to fall under that. So we'll try it, but it's there. And then we have this book, which doesn't actually, so for Christmas, I bought my friends a bunch of different books that I like did a bunch of research on. And when they all came in, this was in that order. And I changed my mind on giving this to one of my friends. And I ended up just being like, oh, I'll do something with it. And it's just been sitting on my, and I haven't officially added it to the TBR because I don't know if I want to read it or not. But it is a sci-fi and it's sapphic. So I'm like, what if I try it? But this isn't even on my physical TBR. So this is like just a book that's been loitering, which is, I have another one, which was sitting over here that was an extra book in a book outlet order at some point. That's a little middle grade that I was like, I didn't order this. So I just have a couple books that are just loitering in my life, and this is one of them. And the reviews aren't spectacular on this one, so it's not like one that I think is going to be amazing, but like, what if it's fun? It's also blurbed by one of my favorite authors, Sarah Beth Sturz, on the back, which is weird. Why is she blurbing a sci-fi? Nobody knows. That's going on the taste test because I kind of want to see what it's all about. Then we have another one that's going on the taste test because this is a special edition that I went out of my way on Facebook Marketplace to buy, which is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. Look how beautiful that is. Gorgeous, stunning. I love this so much. This is going to be a taste test. In this video, I don't know, but it's going to be one that's going to be on the taste test possibilities because I used to love Cassandra Clare, and every time I come back to one of her books, I'm just like, oh, but what if I just don't know if I'm going to like this, and then I end up eating it the fuck up because it's Cassandra Clare and she knows how to write a fucking book. I know she's problematic in different ways. She's always on the outs for something. So I don't love that aspect of her, but I didn't give my money to her directly. This was directly through a Facebook Marketplace transaction. So we'll see. I'll give this one a try. This one here, Build Your House Around My Body, is just going to be an unhaul. I'm just no longer interested in it. It's just not really my genre. Now we have a stack of middle grades. Amazing. These two here are JC Cervantes books, and I would really like to give them another shot, but if I decide to give these a shot, I do want to reread the first one because these are the kind of middle grades that I'm like, this felt like Percy Jackson to me, and it was fantastic, like the readability of a Percy Jackson book. So I think these ones I'm going to keep. And then Aggie Morton Mystery Queen, I did really enjoy the first two of these by Marthe Josselin. I was gifted the first two of these by the publisher to do a video a number of years ago. They're very fun, but I just don't think they're gonna last on my shelves any longer. So I think we're gonna unhaul this, which is sad because I did go out of my way to buy that one. And then I also have Tristan Strong, the second one in the Tristan Strong world. I rated the first one 4 stars. And this could be a fun series to actually finish and read because I really enjoy these mythology books that the Required and Imprint did. Okay, no, I've convinced myself to keep that one too because I feel like I should give Tristan Strong a good chance. Also, I do have this series, and wow, it's covered in cat hair, but it's also just kind of a mess because it was a thrifted book. Covered in cat hair and dust. This series is by Margaret Weiss. It's the kind of sci-fi-ish series. I thrifted them all on a whim, which I really need to stop fucking doing. This is actually a really recent thrift whim from last year too. They're very cutie. I love a mass market. You guys know how much I love mass markets, but there are no audiobooks for these books. So I will never get through them. I'm just gonna be point blank with y'all. I will never get through these because there are no audiobooks on them. So we are unhauling all 3 from the TBR. This is a very satisfying pile, I'm not gonna lie. And then I have the entire Golden Compass series. Now, this is, I know, a childhood favorite of so many people. So many people love these books. They are sci-fi fantasy, right? I have wanted to try these books for so many years. So this is going to be a taste test, but it might be a specific taste test because I just don't think, I don't know about these. I want to try them, but again, I will have to try the first one, the Golden Compass, and see if it even catches my attention enough to continue with the series. Also, I just love this little blacks. They're just so cutie, this little mass market box. I got it for $5 at one of the fairs here, which we love. Okay, so after all that, we have unhauled 13 books. Holy shit, 13? Plus some books that I've like already read, like I'm gonna be unhauling Hamajang Luck because it was just fine for me. Someone else will like that more. I'm gonna be unhauling, depending on if I do want to continue with either of these series. These two are on the chopping block, but I have read these already, so we'll see. Did I not have anything else that I wanted to potentially look at? I feel like I did. Okay, so that is what we're going to be doing for our first taste test. Those are the unhauls. We've unhauled 13 books, which is crazy. So that brings us back to 175 books for proof. 175 books. Holy shit. That feels so much better. So I could probably go through my list and unhaul more. Those were just the ones that were sitting on my floor. So other than the taste test books, I feel like I need to go through my shelves and like actually do a full unhaul as well, just of books that I have read, because 'tis the season for culling things off my shelves. So far, I think that's everything, because everything else I do feel like I could try at some point, like do another taste test of. We shall see. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time, probably not today, because I do actually still need to finish my previous taste test, or my previous TBR Sidequest episode, and edit that and put that up. But we have a stack of ones we are going to try. I'm going to put these middle grades back on the shelves, and then we're going to move all these 13 books that I've unhauled off my shelves into the unhaul stack on the other wall. It's getting a little dangerously tall, and my friends are probably going to want to peruse that at some point, because I know them. Anytime they come over, they go to that little unhaul, like, ooh, what's new? Which I love that. Thank you, friends, for helping me. That, my friends, is the beginning of this episode of the TBR Sidequest. We have a bunch of possibilities that I could be reading in this video, and we'll see which ones of the taste tests that I actually still want to continue if I'm still interested in them after a chapter or two. Maybe we have even more to remove off the TBR. Let's find out. Hello, friends. It is now March 14th, 15th, because it's almost 2 in the morning. We're in limbo hours, as we know. Not actually a new day until it's a new day, you know? I want to pop in and give a little update. I have gone through my shelves and reorganized a little. I don't ever fully reorganize because my shelves are in alphabetical order, so I just squish, rearrange, take books off, that kind of a thing, and then slide everything around. So I did a little bit of shuffling earlier today. Took some more books off the shelves, mostly ones that I have read, and I just don't have any interest in keeping them on my shelves anymore, so I'm gonna unload those. I have such a massive pile of books now that are going out of my place, which is fantastic. I don't know how I'm gonna get them out of my place, but I will. When? Who's to say? They're just gonna hang out there for a second. But I have officially 3 more DNFs. 2 of them count because one of them was that book that I never actually added on to my Storygraph thing. It was that extra book from a book outlet box or whatever. I started reading it and I was immediately like, because the voice was weird and the font was dumb. So, like, it hurt my eyes to look at. And that's not, it should not happen when you're looking at books. And then, of course, The Warrior Heir, as I mentioned earlier in the B-roll, it's just a no for me, dog. I don't think Cinda Williams' Chime is for me. But I have a bunch of maybes, and I had 2 that really, like, weirdly shone out as, like, I kind of want to try that now. Like, I kind of want to read it now. One of them was Martha Wells' City of Bones. The first chapter was just so interesting. I didn't read the entire first chapter. I listened to the sample of the audiobook on Audible to get a feel of the audiobook's voice. And there's really nothing like super interesting about the first chunk of the chapter, except for the fact that there is an interspersing of some italic text that I don't know what it means, because it has nothing to do with what's going on the page. But like, it goes like, the heat was still stifling under the patched awning and must be far worse in the shop's cave-like interior dug out of the black rock of the city's backbone, where Onrat himself sat on his money chest and listened to his wife bargain. So our characters are currently bargaining for something at a little shop. I don't know. And then it has a little chunk of italic text where goes the man in the shadowed room, cups the fragments of bone in one hand. They are only a focus, because the power to see beyond time is inside his thoughts and his blood and his living bones, not in the dead matter in his hand. And then we're back to our normal scene. The woman's laughter was a humorless bark. She said, nothing is worth that. Like, what? What the fuck is that? So I want to know what that is. And this definitely feels like classic epic fantasy, which makes sense because this is an older release of Martha Wells' work. This is her second novel ever. You guys know how much I love A Little Mass Market, and I'm so fucking mad that the mass markets are now going to die. They're not being produced anymore. So mad about it because these are fucking gems. I love them so dearly. But like, what makes them so charming is like when they're really old. And this one has like no signs of reading on it. Like the spine is completely untouched. And like when you go to open it and read it, you're like, oh, like nobody's read this. Like this is stiff unless they've like read the whole thing like this. Which even then, like that would leave air in the spine eventually. So anyways, I would like to try this. I've already started reading Spelljammer. Which is by Django Wexler. I am 53 pages in. I'm on chapter 5. And I'm reading this with just my eyes. I know, absolutely insane. I couldn't find any audiobooks available right now for any of these books. I did put this one on hold through the library because I don't want to actually buy an audiobook for any of these books because I'm still not 100% sure whether I'm going to like them all. I'm just interested in them all. So getting Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare through the library. I have a hold on a copy through my city's library that like it's less than 2 weeks of a wait. So excited for that one. So whenever that one comes in, I don't know, I'll give it a try. I'm really interested in these two specifically for the mystery aspect of things. The Hexologist immediately was not the vibe I was anticipating. It is so little cozy mystery vibe immediately, which is not what it is, I don't think. I just know that it deals with mystery, and you guys know I love a fantasy mystery, so I'm like, I have to see where this goes, because even though the first couple pages made me go, I'm not interested in this at all, and the font is stupid small in this book. Like, what the fuck do you mean? That's so teeny tiny compared to a normal size book. This is a normal one. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, just format the book bigger. I swear to God, I need to have a chat with all these fucking publishers. And like, I got to a point where we were getting just like a description of Isolde, one of our main characters. And I was like, this is boring to me. But then also I was like, but like, this feels very like mystery coded. Like this is very like typical, kind of almost like a little British mystery vibe. So I'm definitely going to try this one further because that interests me for some fucking reason. And then this one was, I don't know, it just had a fun tone to it. And we have a disabled main character. It's very clear right off the top who's like freshly married. Her dog is the cutest thing in the world. His name is Gimlet. And it's her, like, what is that? Service dog. It's her service dog. And then on the back it says, someone gets murdered and someone has the audacity to arrest her spouse. So armed with banter martinis and her small service dog, Tesla is determined to solve the crime so that the newlyweds can get back to canoodling and keep the real killer from striking again. So this could either be super fucking dumb or the most fun thing in the world. So I'm gonna try this at some point too. And then one that I'm not super sure on is The Shadow Glass by Josh Winning, because I feel like this is gonna land either in a like new cult favorite of mine for this specific genre, which is like the horror thriller genre, even though this has fantasy elements, or this could be the most boring thing in the world and I go in with too high of expectations expecting this to be really fun. But again, I really want to try it because it is also a little bit mixed media, where we have like, this is a transcript of a YouTube video, which is interesting. And also this book is set kind of before, weirdly, it dates itself because right off in the beginning, one of the things that I read first was like what to watch next after watching The Shadow Glass, this puppet movie. It says The Never-Ending Story. And then it also says Game of Thrones. We've only had one season of this book adaptation so far, but it's proved to be a huge thrill. One season of Game of Thrones. So this is set in like 2011, 2012, which is an interesting way to date it, you know? Anyway, so I'm gonna try to find the audiobook for this somehow. But yeah, it's got like mixed media, like transcripts and of interviews and things. So I'm curious Oh, that's so fun. It's the track list for the movie. I'm gonna try find the audiobook for this because I feel like that could be really interesting to have that added thing. And I think it's just so fun that they made it look like a VHS tape because they literally even have the VHS symbol on the bottom. Titan Books put that on there. So they made it feel like a VHS movie. So maybe another one that I'm gonna potentially try. And then Sebastian de Castell. I've read a couple of his books before, Spellslinger and the second one in that series, and they're just like, they're the kind of fantasy books that I reach for when I want to read something fun, fast, and has like no effect on me. It's the same kind of feeling that I have towards the Kimberly Lemming books, just because like, I know I'm not gonna love those books, but they're so fun to read. His Spellslinger books are kind of like that for me. And when I first got my library card, when I first moved into my place, because before I lived here, I lived out of the city and couldn't have a library card unless I paid for one. So moving into the city, I got my library card and I picked up a couple of his books around that time. And they were so fun. Like the tone of them is fun. They're readable as fuck. They just seem interesting, you know? And this is the first one in a new series, and it starts off in a rather like crazy fucking way. It's these three guys who are part of the Greatcoats who have been like disbanded because their king has been killed or something. Like they're this king that they used to serve under. And they used to be in this situation of power as Greatcoats that were like, these were the 144 men and women who are the elite corps, and it was their mission to travel the land and uphold the king's law. But now they're treated as like scum, and they are trying to scrape together coin by doing anything. Three friends at the beginning of this, Falcio, Brasti, and Kest, are listening to their client have sex. And they're having a conversation around like random shit, kind of like being Greatcoats. And then like how it sounds like the man is being tortured with the way that he's moaning. And like, it's fucking, it gives a really interesting like outlook of like where they are in life right now. And then they're like, wait, those sounds don't sound like sex anymore. And they walk in to find their employer fucking murdered. And then the woman who murdered him freezes them with magic and intends to frame them for something, but the magic doesn't seem to work. So it ended in a really interesting way. The chapter it totally turned around. Like they jump out of a window and it ends with the sentence, "My name is Falcio van Mond, first cantor of the Greatcoats, and this was only the first of a great many bad days to come." So like, it's obviously going to be very fun. And it's a swashbuckling romp. So like, I kind of want to try it at some point too. So that one's another maybe. But so far for this video, we are going to be definitely reading Spelljammer, or at least trying to, because I am now, as I said, about 50 pages in, and it's tiny enough. Like this is a tiny, tight little book. And this author wrote, y'all should see his fucking list in here. Look at this shit. Look how many books he's written. Holy shit. But I think his most popular series right now is How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying. His tone of writing in this book, very fun. Immediately, like, we meet our main character Axia as she is driving a cart that is being pulled by a giant hamster. That's the vibe. And she's on this random asteroid planet doing shit. And she doesn't know who she is because 3 years ago she woke up in the wreck of a spaceship, not knowing who she was. One day, after a really crazy fucking day, she wakes up and this guy named Sorik, who is a kind of a jack of all trades con man type guy who does work and gets things for people, merchant vibe. He like takes her in and like gives her food and is like, okay, you can work for me, whatever. I don't care that you don't know who you are. It's been like that for like 3 years. And then one day Axia's in the village and she fucking gets stabbed. And someone tries to kill her. And she's like, what the fuck? And then these two people, these two ladies, these two wonderful sapphic women walk up. And one of them is a tiefling and one of them is a half elf who has like divine powers. They basically give her the option of coming on a job with them and pretending to be the Black Tongue, who is a legendary pirate who went missing. It's presumed dead 3 years ago, who our main character Axia looks exactly like, minus like the hair and whatever and the vibe. And Axie is like, excuse me? And they're like, you be Black Tongue for us? We get major treasure. You get to live whatever life you want. And Axie's like, well, what the fuck? And they're like, or we just leave you in a random city to fend for yourself if you don't want to. And she's like, well, I kind of like rock and a hard place. What the fuck? So it's going to be fun. It's going to be like space pirates and stuff like that. And I kind of want to read this to get a vibe also for my cozy sci-fi, my cozy adjacent sci-fi that I have cooking in my head, Cosmic Latte, because I think that would be very fun. Space pirates, you know? That's why I started reading this one. So this is going to be the first book that we read for this video. Also, we are now down to 172, 171? I'm not sure. Up here, we'll tell you what number we are currently at for this fucking TBR. So shrinking it slowly and massively all at once. But yes, so I will be reading Spelljammer at least until I get bored of it, if I get bored of it. Then if so, I'll DNF it. And then we will see what else I want to try read. I'm definitely going to try find the audiobook for City of Bones by Martha Wells. I've also decided there is a pile of books for this chopping block that are all sequels to series. And I think it would be very interesting to do a specific chopping block for series to continue or not to continue kind of a vibe. So those are going to be saved. So a couple of the books that I mentioned in this video already are in there. Like the Richard Swan. There's a couple. I also have a potential 3 more books to go through for this video. Specifically Gutter Child by J.L. Richardson. I haven't read yet. A little bit of it. And I also pulled the other Jen Lyons book that I've had in my little cabinet for forever because I want to try that one. And I have a CJ Cook, which is like another horror that I want to try. So like I could honestly just keep doing this. I could keep pulling more books off my shelves and giving them like a little taste test. But what I think I'm going to do specifically for this video is as I'm doing a taste test and slowly culling down the maybes, the yeses, the definite no's, I'm going to leave the maybes in a specific pile and we will slowly make our way through them. So I'm going to try those other books, maybe pull a few more off my shelves, and we will decide what else I read in this video together. Whether it's one of these 4, depending on vibe, definitely these 2, or this one when I get the audiobook for it in from my library, or something else. So we shall see what we end up reading for this video. But I wanted to do this update because I'm feeling good. Tonight, it's Saturday, it's after 2 in the morning now, and I've just been slowly like grabbing samples from Audible to listen to the beginning of the audiobooks. That's where we're at. So we've got a couple mysteries that are potentials. We've got the weird horror fantasy and then a super fun fantasy. And then because I want to give Cassandra Clare the benefit of the doubt, this prologue that I read of hers was so fucking boring, but it's Cassandra Clare and usually her books hook me. So hence why I'm getting the audiobook, because I think if I try that and try like an actual good chunk of this, maybe my opinion will change. It's also just because this is a fucking beautiful book and I don't really want to give it away or sell it. That's another option. So lots of wonderful options. We have shrunk the TBR so fucking much. I feel so productive and I'm finding a fun little sci-fi that's gonna be so fun, and I'm reading it with just my eyes. Craziness, truly. Why? Because I didn't want to get the audiobook just in case I didn't like it, because this book is so small. And it is, I believe, an Audible original or an Audible exclusive. I could be wrong. I just couldn't find the audiobook anywhere like readily available for me. So just gonna read this with my eyeballs. Anyways, I'll catch up with you guys when I have more to say. Hey friends, it is officially March 21st. I had to double check. And I wanted to pop in with a little update, a little reading update on this here TBR Sidequest, because guys, I looked at my story graph after doing a couple little things and after doing my, big on haul type situation, my culling, what have you. I am down to 170 books. And then I brought another book onto the TBR because my aardvark book box got here. So we're at 171 books on the TBR, my friends. I feel so good about this number, and I'm in a mood to just like read and sample so many things and just bring that shit down. Now we are at 171 because we would have been at 172, but I DNF'd Spelljammer, Memories Wake by Django Wexler. I got halfway through this, guys. I couldn't care less about the story. Like, yeah, it was kind of like a fun sci-fi, but I was having none of it. I was like, I really don't give a shit about any of our characters, what they're doing, what's going on. I pretty much can guess like the reveal that's probably going to happen near the end because like it's really clear as to what's happening. I don't know. I got like 140-ish pages in and I was like, nah, I'm on DNF this. Because here's the thing. I trust myself so much and my gut reactions to things because I know my intuition. I know it's correct like 99% of the time. And when it comes to books, it's like 100% of the time. So if I'm iffy on a book, I am most definitely, most probably not going to jive with it completely, which is totally fine. Or if I've like lost interest in it, that's totally okay. So we have DNF'd Spelljammer. Like it would have been probably a 2-star if I had finished it. I just wasn't. No, I wasn't gonna just sit there and like half skim read it because I was like, why not finish it? No, DNFing is the best thing. I am also like this close to DNFing City of Bones by Martha Wells because I am bored. I am 79 pages in. I'm bored. I don't like any of our characters. I just like it's so overwritten to feel like an old fantasy book. And one of our characters out of the fucking blue is like, I'm not making fun of you, you oversensitive bitch. And I was like, this man said that to a woman. Like, if this wasn't written by a woman, I would have thrown this across the room at that sentence. But because it's written by a woman, I was like, what the fuck? This has since been like City of Bones, whatever this is, has been re-released, but I'm listening to the audiobook that I think is the re-released version of because it feels like it sounds new and it's like the only one available on many different audiobook platforms. And that's still in it. So it wasn't like completely rejigged. I'm not happy with this one either. I'll give it a little more. I'll probably give it to like 100 pages ish because the one thing that got me with this book is, I don't know if I explained it in the clip earlier, but there is italics interspersed in just the first chapter every once in a while of an entirely different scene, an entirely different moment that does not have anything to do with our characters that we are currently reading in the first chapter. And I am so like, I want to know what the fuck that was about. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing I care about. I don't care about our main character, Kat. I don't care what his shit is. Our whole book is about these two people. What are their names? Kat and Ellen, as they come together. I don't know, man. Where is it here? The back says, and where a beautiful woman and a handsome thief will try to unravel the mysteries of an age-old technology to stop a fanatical cult before they unleash an evil that will topple Karasat and destroy all the water in the world. Very overwritten back. But that should appeal to me. That idea should appeal to me. But our main character, Kat, is a dick, and our like the woman that he's with is so like, oh, can't do anything. And I'm like, bitch, you're a fucking, I want to say a warder. I don't think that's the word for it, but like there's like, it might be the thing. I don't know, man. But she's so useless. And I am tired of reading about useless women. And I did not like that he called her an oversensitive bitch, because that's not even in the like playful, like, oh, you bitch. Like, that is a insult the way that it was delivered in this book. And I'm like, that, I don't know. No, like that you oversensitive bitch did not need to even be in this sentence. It could have just been, I'm not making fun of you. Let me see your leg. We did not need to say, I'm not making fun of you, you oversensitive bitch. Let me see your leg. Like, that's too much. And it's too much for even the character that we've been given of Kat for a while. Like, he says this to Ellen, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this girl. God damn. You know what? I've convinced myself. I'm DNFing it. So we're now back to 170 books on the TBR. This is probably not going to be a very like interesting video, because I feel like any book that I do try and read for this video is just going to be either a DNF or I'm going to be like, yeah, it was fine, because I know myself with the unhaul. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm interested in. Again, I know what I want to read. You know, so anyways, I also wanted to give you guys an overview of all the books that I am unhauling, because I know I've like shown you in this video what I've unhauled for this video specifically, but I have so many books stacked up right now. I am getting rid of a bunch of different things. This stack of books right next to me is what my friends have requested. Not Cascade Failure. That's just sitting there because I put it there. But the Jade City, Jade War, Black Sun, Fevered Star, Mirrored Heavens, Trail of Lightning, probably Ruby and Dune. Those have been requested from my friends from the unhaul pile, which is exciting. I always like to take a photo and be like, here, friends, pick. Love that. And then I've put it up on Facebook Marketplace. Hopefully a couple books will go. If they don't, that's fine. I think I might also look into bringing many, if not all of them, to a local bookstore that will buy the books from me. I think there's only like one or two in my city that does it for cash. Everyone else does it for like credit, store credit, what have you. I'm gonna look into it. But yeah, I have so many books, so I'm gonna show you. Let's go on an adventure. Even Freya wants in on the adventure. Anyways, here is the giant pile of the books that I'm getting rid of. We've got Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist at the top there. That was a romance book that didn't quite work for me. We've got The Cruel Stars, The Alloy of Law, Elantris, the Susan Dennard series, Winterkeep, bunch of middle grades, Justice of Kings. Well, it's in this pile. I didn't mean it to be. Because I'm going to try The Tyranny of Kings. So if anyone asks for that one, though, I probably will just sell it. Hello, baboos. And we got all the way down there. God of Endings. There's a romance. Chuck Tingle. It Ends With Us was a gift from a family friend that I was like immediately like, no. The Megan Mazzaferro is a different version of the book because I still have her book on my shelves right there next to The Son of a Sailor, her like new released version. This is the first version, so I just figured, remove it off my shelves. Something Blue, Foundry Side, The Diviners, what have you. This one, we have that stack of little sci-fis that I told you guys about. Getting rid of Dragonfall. That arc, I probably will just give away because you can't sell arcs. All the different things, as you can see. I don't know if I need to narrate all of these books. Bunch of middle grades, what have you. Done. So when it comes to what else I'm going to read in this video, I did just get my Libby hold for Swordcatcher by Cassie Clare in, so I will give that one a try. And I have Gutter Child by J.L. Richardson over there that I would like to try as well. I have like the maybe pile that I talked about earlier that I could dabble in as well. I don't know. We'll see. This weekend specifically is the Trans Race Readathon, so I won't be reading anything this weekend for this video, but we'll come back after that Trans Race Readathon is over, and I will get back to reading down my TBR in the TBR Sidequest. So that is the update, my friends. We are down to 171 books on the TBR. Loving that. That number makes me very happy, considering that it was 188, 189 at the beginning of this video. So I'll catch you later when I have more to update you on. I'll tell you what I have decided on a bunch of different things and what I'm reading next. Hello, friends. Oh my gosh, golly, I have updates. It's been a hot fucking second since I last talked to you guys. I don't even remember the last update for this video was. What I can say is that this video has just been a slew of DNFs. I think since I last talked to you, a couple things have happened. I've sold a couple books. I accidentally listed that Richard Swan, the first book, in my Facebook listing of all my unhauls, and someone wanted it. So I sold it, and I also threw in the sequel. So that one is off my TBR now, so that we can remove that one off the TBR. I have since tried and DNF'd the Martha Wells book. I don't remember what I last talked to you about. So we've DNF'd Spelljammer for sure. I also have DNF'd the Martha Wells book that I was trying as well, City of Bones, because I just could not care less about our characters or our story, and I just really did not like the main character and the way that he treated women. It was just atrocious. And then since then, yesterday, I ended up deciding, I came home from the lake and I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to try Swordcatcher because I have the audiobook through Libby. I'm gonna try Swordcatcher and see if like it gets any better or more interesting. And I got 135 pages in and it was so boring. And I gotta say, for a Cassandra Clare book, it does not feel like a Cassandra Clare book. I go into Cassandra Clare books wanting that like addictive drive that she has in those books that make these 600 plus page chunky fantasy books that she writes easy to read. And like you just zoom through them, whether that is the font choice, whether that is the way she's actually writing these books. Like her Shadowhunter books are addictive and so easy to get through. That's what I was kind of expecting going into this, but she has completely pumped the brakes on that shit in this book. This is her first adult fantasy and it feels like a slog of a fantasy book. Like it feels like the descriptions are so, like it's so much. It's beautiful. It's well done. But it's such a slog to get through that I was just like, okay, like I could make this so much snappier. And when I'm sitting there reading a book that is like this author's 20 plus book, and I'm like, well, I know how to make this snappier to make it feel a little bit, like have a little bit more drive and like keep the readers interested and keep the story moving, that's a little bit of a problem. You know what I mean? Like it just felt off. Nothing was fucking happening. Like, I was 135 pages in. I was barely 5 chapters into this book because the chapters are so fucking long. And usually I don't really care about chapter length unless I'm writing, because I want to keep my chapters a little bit shorter, a little bit tighter, so that they can, like, you know, keep momentum, because I know a lot of people really enjoy short chapters because it moves you through the book faster. But if I notice that a chapter is really long, we have a problem, because these chapters were so fucking long. I was in the middle of the first chapter. After reading this prologue that took me 30 minutes to read, the first chapter, I was like, I thought this was supposed to be like multiple POV. Like, I wonder when we're gonna get that other POV. Like, it feels like it's gonna be so late in the book. I was in chapter 1. Chapter 2 was the POV switch. I was baffled. I got to chapter 2 and I was like, wait, I'm only on chapter 2? What? It felt so long. So I got to the page like 135. I was in chapter 5 when I DNF'd the book, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself another chapter. A lot of my complaints are the fact that it was just really boring and nothing was happening, which is not like a Cassie Clare book at fucking all, because I'm so used to her books driving with so much force that they just keep you reading. So I don't know how she managed to change her writing style so much, because after the slew of Shadowhunter books that she's had, her style is so different in this book, which is honestly a feat and a half to be able to change your style that much. But I also had trouble with the characters themselves, because I didn't feel like we knew the characters at all. And a lot of the side characters were just kind of confusing, and there was so many of them, but the way that she would refer to them would be swapping between like using just their last name or just their first name to refer to them. And I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, because I don't know who this person is enough to be able to like indicate that I'm looking at the same character when you're referring to them with first name or last name. So that was a little confusing. I'm also, I don't know, I just didn't like nothing was going on. I wasn't getting anything from our characters. That's about it with that one. So we DNF'd that, and that's very sad. But I've got it because that's a beautiful fucking book. It's such a pretty book, because I have the Fairy Loot Special Edition that I got off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's now back on Facebook Marketplace. Hopefully someone picks that up, because I would like to get rid of that book from my house. After all of that, and I feel like I've read other books in between off the TBR. I don't exactly know. But what I can tell you is that my story graph says I'm at 168 books on my owned list. My fuck, it is so satisfying. Oh, I did read an extra book. It was The Princess Knight. I read that off my physical TBR for the Transrise Readathon. But 168 books on the physical TBR. So, even though this video, we have not completed a single book, I have read enough pages to complete a single book. Let me tell you. We read half of Spelljammer, 100 and some odd pages. Read like, I don't know, 10-15% of The City of Bones, so another 100-ish pages. And then 135 pages of The Spellcatcher, or Swordcatcher. So it's there. I've read enough pages to count for one book. Even though we haven't read a book in this TBR Sidequest, we have unhauled so many books off of this fucking TBR. I feel so good about it. That's awesome. We're down to 168. You know what that means? 18 more books, and I'm done the challenge of reading down to 150 books on my TBR. I love that. 18 more books, that's so doable. You know what I mean? I'm so excited to be able to like walk into a bookstore and buy myself a book. Like, I have just wanted to go and peruse a bookstore so bad. Like, I have it literally on like a list of things that I want to do this year is go into a bookstore and just pick a book off the shelves. Not because like it's something that I saw online, not because of any of that. I just want to pick a book because vibes. Would love to do that. I do have another plan to do like a separate part of this chopping block TBR Sidequest, which is specifically for the series that I have on my TBR. So this is going to be, I'll give you a show and tell. Hold on. So we have a couple of the series that I have on my shelves that are ones that I want to taste test. We also have another one. It's somewhere. It's the Terra Sim one that I mentioned in this video at some point. I don't know. That one will probably be on this taste test too. But yeah, these are going to be a series chopping block, which is going to be nice because also if I decide not to continue with any of these series, that removes series off of my list that I'm currently reading because I have 81 ongoing series right now, I think. So if we can sample some of these, read some of these, and decide if I want to continue reading the series, that would be great. Also because then it gets, you know, more TBR books off my TBR, also gets me further in series. So we have, you know, Finley Donovan, some middle grade, a fantasy horror with this Marina Lostetter, a really interesting fantasy world with Arca, And then of course The Expanse with some sci-fi. This is an upcoming at some point. I don't know if it'll be the next TBR Sidequest or what, but it'll be upcoming at some point. Anyways, my friends, that is it from me for this TBR Sidequest installment, the chopping block, if you will. I am very happy that we brought the number down to 168, much more manageable. It's a good spring cleaning of the TBR and of the shelves. I'll catch you in another video very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.